We are previewing Week 14 in the NFL. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who proves his value as a handicapper by taking any game that I assign him, the tough ones. His analysis really shows you how he thinks and what he does. And right now we're going to cover Washington and Chicago, one of those tough games. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Joe Duffy, the Redskins lost on Monday Night Football to Dallas, and the Bears took a surprising loss in OT. And, before that, the Bears had covered 4 in a row, while the Redskins have been a pretty shoddy ATS team this year. But from a playoff perspective, the Skins have more to play for than the Bears. The Bears aren't technically mathematically eliminated, but essentially they are. While the Redskins, if they win out, they're still looking good for the playoffs. So from a playoff perspective, Skins are still in it. The Bears not really. And the question is just can they come back on the road here and play competitively, cover 3 or 3.5. The market is split, which makes sense. You could make a good case for either side here. The total is 44. I guess as of right now, my very slight leans would be Skins plus 3.5 and the under at 44, but I certainly haven't bet either one of those yet. Joe Duffy, what's your take on this game?
Well, one thing that I would agree with you, it's more of a slight lean, but I have a slight lean actually towards the other side. You're correct. Really, I think every team in the NFC East essentially has their destiny in their own hands because any one of these teams run the table. It's not like any other team is going to do all that well. And I think that any team, even Dallas, if they ran the table, which they won't, but Washington's destiny is in their own hands if they just keep on winning, which I don't think is all that likely. Very interesting home road splits here. The Bears are actually a team that is much better on the road than they are at home. The road team is actually 9-3 straight up in their games. So the knee-jerk reaction might be to go with the road team. But I decided to research it. You got to test these theories.
Yes.
In fact, that the research says that is an anomaly. Essentially, when a team is substantially better on the road than they are at home, and they're playing at home, they're actually a 52% bet. Now, that's because of the juice. That's not an angle, but it is a warning to not outsmart yourself. However, home road splits, which says the team is much better at home than they are on the road, tend to hold up better, and that is Washington. In particular, Kirk Cousins, 115.8 home quarterback rating, but only 69.8 on the road. They're 0-5 straight up on the road, 1-4 against the spread. So I lean Chicago, but the reason I lean Chicago is I'm not so much liking Chicago as I am liking going against Washington.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I like, the Chicago coaching staff and the system a lot better than the Washington coaching staff and the system. I trust Chicago a lot more than I do Chicago generally, so I certainly wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, and it is a split line. So Chicago plus 3, you want to make that an official pick, Joe?
Yes, I will make that an official pick.
There you have it. Chicago -3, Joe's recommended play here. And Joe Duffy, of course, every week gives his top plays at his website, OffshoreInsiders.com. For anyone who wants to know more, go to that website. Joe Duffy, tell us what we can find there.
Again, there's very few handicappers that can claim they're more experienced than me. My full-time income for the last 28.5 years has been betting and selling picks, nothing else. Find out why if you've never visited OffshoreInsiders.com. Your betting life is about to change.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you, Peter.